Welcome back to the Hill. Senator Tommy Tuberville's hold on more than 300 military promotions is nearing the 6-month mark now. That hold stems from a disagreement over the Pentagon's policy regarding abortion. The Alabama Republican spoke with Leland Vitter during On Balance last night.
These people are taking their jobs. There's no job unfilled. They just do not have the name of what they're doing. The commandant of the Marines from day one has been running the Marines, has been doing his job. He's been doing what he was tabbed to do. This is all politics.
All politics, he says. Sabrina Singh is the deputy press secretary over at the Pentagon and joins us once again. Sabrina, thank you for being back here on the Hill. Appreciate the time. You heard the comments there from the senator. What would your response be?
Hey, Blake. Well, thanks for having me back. I heard the comments from the senator. I think what he doesn't understand here is we do have an acting commandant of the Marine Corps who is not just doing the job of the commandant. He's also doing the job of the assistant, the deputy, the assistant commandant as well. That is the role that he was in before. So it's pretty important that when we're talking about roles not being filled, we're talking about someone that's doing the job of that should be done by two different people. He is wearing a dual-hatted role right now because Senator Tuberville is holding up his confirmation. That means that other people cannot move up into that position. And let me tell you, Blake, and I'm sure many of your viewers know, the position of the Commandant of the Marine Corps is a pretty big job. So is the second in command of the Marine Corps. They need two separate people in those roles.
Tommy Tuberville, though, Sabrina, seems pretty locked in. And the former president, Donald Trump, essentially rooted him on yesterday in an interview. You know how things work. If you're a Republican like Tommy Tuberville and you get the backing of Donald Trump, it's going to be hard to back off. Tommy Tuberville believes what he is doing is right. How does this end?
You know, Blake, I wish I could tell you how this ends. I don't know yet. I don't have a crystal ball here to tell you how it ends. What I do know.
But isn't one way President Biden goes to Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader, and says, Chuck, we can take these one by one on the floor. Let's go.
Sure, Blake. He could do that, and that would literally bring the Senate to a standstill. We can break out individual members from the block of over 300 nominees that are up for promotion. And if you want to have a debate on each one, you want to have it to go to a unanimous consent, get rejected by Senator Tuberville or another Republican, then that goes for hours of debate. Each name could be hours, up to 30 hours potentially for each name. We're looking at over 300 people that need to be confirmed. Do you want the Senate to go into a complete shutdown? No, I don't think anyone wants that. People want the Senate to do their jobs. They want the Senate to address whatever it is that is happening in their home state.
Is there a deadline that you know of? Is there a deadline that you know of?
I'm not aware of any self-imposed deadline from Senator Tuberville. What we will still continue to do here at the Pentagon is to highlight how damaging this is for our national security, for our readiness, for our military families. And that's something that a senator who sits on the Senate Armed Services Committee should really understand.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.